بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. One of the great threats that endanger the community of believers and those who await the return of the Imam is the fact that we have had false impostors. We've had charlatans throughout our history, since the beginning of the lesser occultation, through the early stages of the greater occultation, and to this very day. People who have claimed to be representatives of the Imam, spokespersons for the Imam. We are seeing this today. There are many examples that perhaps you are familiar with, but this is not a new phenomenon. This is something that we've seen time and again. Al-Shaykh al-Tusi, 1,000 years ago, wrote a book by the name of Al-Ghayba, known as Ghaybat al-Tusi, the occultation, in which he has an entire chapter dedicated to these false claimants of representation of the 12th Imam. And he mentions some of them by name and tells what happened in their time and how they began their false messianic mission and how they attempted to deceive the masses. He mentions a few names, including Ash-Sharifi. He says this was the first person who during the lesser occultation claimed to be a representative, a spokesperson for the 12th Imam. And he mentions al-Numayri as well as al-Husayn ibn Mansur al-Hallaj. Some of you might be familiar with al-Mansur al-Hallaj. He was a person who made such claims and ultimately said, I am God incarnate. He said, Laysa fi jubbati illa Allah. He was an impostor of the worst caliber who was eventually executed, not by the Shia, but by the government of the day for being too extremist and too outrageous in his false claims. His son, Al-Husayn, Al-Shaykh al-Tusi mentions that he wrote to one of our scholars by the name of Abu Sahl al-Nawbakhti. He wrote a letter to him and he said to him that I have been commanded by the 12th Imam to reach out to you, to help you in any way you may require and to provide you with support and assistance, because that's how it works, right? It begins not by asking for a pledge of allegiance, it begins with how may I assist you, how may I help you? So Shaykh al-Tusi mentions that Al-Husayn ibn al-Mansur al-Hallaj wrote to Abu Sahl al-Nawbakhti and he said to him, is there something I can do for you? I have specific instructions by the 12th Imam to reach out to you. And so Shaykh al-Tusi said that al-Nawbakhti, he didn't engage with this man on an intellectual level. He didn't try to rationalize and speak to him logically or religiously. Instead, he made a mockery of him. This is how the Shia responded to these false impostors. They made a mockery of them. They would send la'na upon them straight away. Shaykh al-Tusi mentions this. فَلَعَنَهُ الشِّيَعَةِ in the case of Al-Sharifi and Numayri. Al-Nawbakhti used a different tactic. He said to him, since you represent the Imam, I have a lot of gray hair in my beard and in my head. And so my wife, she looks at me and she realizes how old I've become. And so I've made a practice that every Friday I would dye my beard and I would dye my hair. But I'm too tired of doing this. Could you maybe ask the Imam, since you seem to have a direct connection with him, to restore my black hair in my beard and in my head? That's all I ask you. I don't want you to split the moon. I don't want you to perform some great miracle. I just want you to restore the blackness of my hair. And so Shaykh al-Tusi mentions that this man became a laughing stock because he never even replied to Abu Sahl al-Nawbakhti. He became a laughing stock among everyone. That look, he says he represents the Imam and he can't even do this. He can't even ask the Imam to do this. And so we need to recognize, brothers and sisters, that these false claimants of representation must be ostracized and excommunicated. They must be condemned as liars and severed from the rest of the community, because we will see more and more of these likes who will try and deceive the masses, and we should never fall prey to their deceptions, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.